Tonight, baseball will be played between two different teams at Fenway Park. Can you believe it? It's the final days of summer camp, as we've taken to call it. The early days of baseball's sprint to squeeze in what will undoubtedly be the strangest season in history. Red Sox taking on the Blue Jays. You'll see baseball at Fenway. You won't see fans. You will see players crammed into auxiliary dugouts and bullpens. You won't see high fives or spitting or a lot of other things. You'll hear a crowd that won't actually be at the game. But the crack of the bat, the snap of the mitt will be the same, and the familiar voices of our NESN broadcast team will be back to bring you every moment of the action. Blue Jays rolling to town for the next 2 nights. Good thing they're on the road because they can't go home. We'll have the latest on the Nomad Blue Jays in just a little bit. All of this getting us ready for opening day. It comes your way on Friday. The Red Sox taking on the Baltimore Orioles. Nathan Eovaldi will be on the mound. The Sox believe they have the bats to battle for a playoff spot. We'll see if they have the pitching to support that offense. Hello and welcome to Red Sox First Pitch. Where do we begin? 3 days away from opening day and the familiar sounds of Red Sox baseball on NESN, and that's the only thing that will sound familiar. A tune-up tonight, the Red Sox and the Blue Jays. I'm Tom Caron. He's Hall of Famer Jim Rice, a little further from me than usual, but nothing is usual in 2020, Jim.
Truth, you see, how often you would probably say opening day is July 24th?
Never. Once 30 teams are tied for first place on July 24th. Right. So it's a sprint to the end. It'll be so different, Jim. It'll be hard to compare this to anything normal, but are you excited to finally watch some baseball?
I am. I'm excited for the fans. I think, you know, with the kids out of school and everything, and mom and pops in the house with the kids running around, everything else, you couldn't get them outside. So at least by playing baseball, they outside, but still you can get them back inside now, and the parents can have their kids to watch a baseball game with them, because this is what summer's all about.
Something to watch. We're done with Netflix. It's time to watch some live baseball. What would it be like to be a player? Have you thought about this at all? Empty ballpark. Some players are up in the seats. You got a fake piped-in crowd over the speakers. Can you imagine what it'll be like to compete in an environment like this?
Well, yes and no. I think, you know, sometimes when you play in the minor league, you don't have anybody at the ballpark. And then when you think about forget about the 60 games. I think a lot of guys can't play under the pressure, especially being in a city like Boston. So now I think by playing with no fans, even though you're looking for a contract maybe next year, it'll take a lot of pressure off of them because no one inside the booing. The key thing here is that when you play in any sport, you do not want to be booed. And so they're in a situation now where they can go out and relax, and whatever happens, it happens, and you won't be booed.
Yeah, I don't think they have a boo on the crowd sound. I don't think they'll be booing anybody on the home field. It's so strange because, listen, someone's going to win this, and that team will feel like this is a championship. No one's going to take that away from them. You win this competition, 60 games, whatever it is. The weird one will be when you start to look at individual achievements, right? Will someone hit 400 in a 60-game season? Will some pitcher have an ERA of 1.59 because he had 10 good starts? Those individual stats are going to be kind of strange.
The individual stats will come in that if you have negotiate a contract. But as far as the other things, I don't think players would think about that. I think they're looking at what can I do for these 60 games to make myself better to get another contract. As far as winning the World Series, okay, everybody play out the same amount of games, win the World Series. But all the other things, the ERA and Cy Young and things like that, nah, you can throw that to the side.
The most important stat of the year will be positive test results because the healthiest team is going to have the best chance to win. We've already seen it with the Red Sox. Eduardo Rodriguez would have been the opening day starter. He tested positive for COVID-19. He's back. But he said the symptoms were really serious, and he had to battle through that. And teams are going to have to deal with this as the season goes along.
Well, no doubt. You know, when you're talking about the teams dealing with this, and of course being a player too, the player's got to watch out what he's doing or who he's coming in contact with, things like that. At one time, you have to worry about that. So now everything is a little different. You know, you touch certain things, you got to wash your hands 3 or 4 times. And so the players are going to be very careful with what they got to do.
I'll tell you the most important number of the season, 2.7. Remember that number, because essentially every game is worth 2.7 games in a normal season. So if you sweep a team, a 3-game sweep, that's like an 8-game winning streak in a normal season. 60 games, Jim, we say all the time it's important to get off to a good start. But this year, it's really important to get off to a good start. If you start off 3-7, 2-8, you may never be able to dig out of that hole.
But the thing about it, TC, is that when you talk about getting off to a good start, we never really put this in perspective as far as the plan, last couple of years, health. And so it all depends on the healthy team, like you said. So when you got a healthy team and you go out to make that production, that's going to help you. Even though you have the highest priced ball players on the team, if they're not healthy, you're not going to win.